right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. Let's start that conversation on State of the Nation. We talk about matters, politics, and everything in between there. Trevor Mbidi at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. That's how you can reach us. Let me introduce my guest one more time. Honorable Danson Mugatana is here, Senator for Tana River. Thank you for making time. Honorable Joe Newt is also here, Senator for Moranga. Asante sana for making time. And Willie Sotieno, Deputy Party Leader, Safina. Thank you very much for making time. Let's take a look at the dailies. We start with the Standard. We see staring at an impeachment drawing near. Before we even get into the merits or the demerits of it all, Willis, I'll start with you. You're the first one here. Is this a necessary move?
I don't see any reason, in terms of the grounds, that Gachagua should be impeached. For the simple reason that the alleged conduct that he said this country belongs to shareholders were made last year ago. And that last year ago, when it was being said, the Kenya Kwanza Brigade that is now leading the onslaught were clapping at him. If anything, I consider this is idle talk that is told to Kenya Kwanza sycophants. It's not concrete decision that you can say. But look at William Ruto, for example. In the 2 years he's been in office, over 60 Kenyans have been killed by police bullets. Not even a single officer is in court. There's no investigations going on. There's no prosecution going on of those officers. In the last 1 year, 2 years been in office, he's borrowed beyond what the Kenyan people can afford. In fact, the borrowing that we've had, bulk of it is illegal, odious debt. If you look at the same William, look at JSS, education sector, is in shambles. Look at the health sector, is in shambles. Look at Adani. Adani has now become the new Kenya, in the sense that if it is not airport, it is energy. If it's not energy, it is IT. If it's not IT, it is health sector, all being controlled by Adani. This is state capture. In fact, the grounds upon which Jacob Zuma was impeached was based on similar incidents where Gupta had his Zuma had his Gupta, Ruto has his Adani. Now, if there was anybody to be impeached at this point, it should be William Ruto. Gachagua is just a sideshow. There is no basis, in my view, sufficient ground that will warrant the impeachment of Gachagua, and you are letting William Ruto to continue to be in office. Any impeachment motion we should be discussing in this country is the impeachment of William Ruto, who was superintendent over the killings, the abductions, and the forced disappearance of our young people. Okay. If you want to do it purely based on the question of regionalism, then go to the same William Ruto and ask him, in terms of your appointments at senior levels, who is the head of your public service? Who is the CEO of Kenya Power? Who is the CEO of EPRA? Who is the CEO of NSSF? Who is the CEO of Kenya Ports Authority? Who is the CEO of National Sales and Produce Board? I mean, the man has filled the entire senior cadres of public service with his tribesmen. Now you want to impeach Gachagua just for saying we are needy of shareholders, and yet at the same time you have, and there's no action he has done about it, but you have a president who has actually done tangible actions that perpetuates ethnicity. Okay. Why punish the poor idler village talker and leave the one who is causing us actual pain in office? Okay.
Mugatana, should Gachagua be impeached?
Now, because I'm discussing censure motion, I don't like the two, so that let me then, first of all, I don't like confusing the two. Because when you ask impeachment and I'm doing censure, people tend to mix up. So let me just start by clarifying that with a censure motion, it is a strong disapproval. It is a political motion where you are telling, in exercise of oversight, you're telling a public office holder, look, what you're doing is wrong, and you stop it. And in some jurisdictions, you carry on a resolution like that, which includes a fine to stop you from doing what you're doing. So it is normally, like in my case, we are saying conduct and becoming. What you're doing is wrong, you have to stop, and we are getting you back to the correct direction. And just quickly, the basis of that motion is that, look, you have been sworn in to be a Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. But then consistently, somewhere along the road, you decided that you are going to consistently, somewhere along the road, you decided that you are going to champion the only one area's interests, and you come out so public around it all the time. So the question that the people of Tana River, the people of other areas in the Republic of Kenya would ask, then where is my deputy president? So should we have maybe 7 or 8 deputy presidents from the different regions? So it doesn't make sense. So the correct thing is, please come back to what you're supposed to do and keep doing what you're doing. On the other side, an impeachment would be a process that would begin at the National Assembly, not at the Senate. Okay. So it would start there. Once they have approved the articles of impeachment, which would be the charges, if they say, we now believe that he has committed the gross misconduct, broken law or international law, he has committed gross violations of the Constitution, whatever charges they bring, they will then bring to the Senate, where we convert as a court. Yeah. And when we sit as a court, we have to receive, first the charges will be read by the Speaker, then we receive the evidence, and the lawyers will then, he will be given an opportunity to say his bit. Yeah. The lawyers will examine, cross-examine, and then we will then have an opportunity to make a decision. Okay. So that is a very legalistic kind of approach, and the consequences are dire, because the moment you get impeached, if Senate confirms that impeachment, then you are out of office. You are out of office immediately, and you can't contest. So what is your censure motion meant to achieve? The censure motion, and I don't know why you are not getting it. Trevor, today, if I brought you before all your peers, anchors in this nation, to discuss your conduct, including your personal conduct, it is not a very nice thing. Your peers to sit and discuss you. Now here, we are going to have 47 senators telling you, we saw you do this, we saw you do this, we saw you do, get back to line. So it is a strong warning. Okay. And it's an opportunity for you to reform. Okay. Unlike impeachment, if it's confirmed, you must go. So that is the big difference. There's a big difference there, yes, it's true, but most people say that that is also just paving the way for possible impeachment, because you say it's conduct unbecoming. Correct. One of the grounds of impeachment is gross misconduct. Correct. Which has also not been described. Correct. So people say that it is almost the same thing. It's not. It's like laying a ground for impeachment. You see, interpretations can be varied in terms of it's the same thing in law, and we are 3 lawyers, and everyone sees it differently. In the court of public opinion also, people see things differently. But the reality of the matter is that the two are totally unrelated. Okay. For example, now, my motion has to get the approval of the Speaker, and it is in the process. Okay? But an impeachment motion does not need the approval of the Speaker. It has timelines. It comes like this: the Speaker must do this. The Speaker of the National Assembly must do this. The Speaker of the Senate must do this. Just like when it is coming from the County Assembly, where it involves a governor, the Speaker must do this. Okay. And it comes to the Senate, the Speaker must do this. And then, just for information, that impeachment motion normally takes precedent over all Senate business. Okay. So when it lands, it means there's no other discussion, including my motion. My motion would be pushed aside so that one will be discussed. So it's not paving the way. They're just too different. Once my motion is balloted, it would go on. But if this one came in between, this one has to, like all other Senate business, will have to be stepped down, and this one has to go on. Just to get out of this, though, you know, when the Deputy President started, he was doing what we all expected him to do, moving with the agenda of the better agenda, and discussing it here, there. We want to do this, we want to do this, and the other, and the other. That's what we expect the Deputy President to do. But over time, and if he's listening to me, or his people are listening to me, his supporters, please, over time, the same person metamorphosized. He changed and started talking only about one area. Only about one area. Imagine, Trevor, you are expecting greetings, for example, and I'm giving the latest example. They go with the president to the rural Kenya on the other side of Kisumu and the lake area, yeah? and then you are the DP, you stand and say, I'm bringing you greetings from Murima. Do you see how, but you are my deputy president in Tana River. You are the deputy president in Maralal. You are the deputy president in other places. How does it, you're not a governor. Me, I can say I'm bringing you greetings from Tana River, you know, but it is not in the place of, I mean, it's like the president saying I'm bringing you greetings from Uasin Gishu. It doesn't sit well. So we are saying the tangent that you have taken is wrong and it is not helping Kenyans.
Okay.
How will I feel if the president leaves for whatever reason, he hands over power to you for, let's say he has gone away or whatever he's doing or he's unwell? How will I feel as a Kenyan living outside your area when I know that this office has always protected one area? So there's something wrong, we must fix it. And when we fix it, all these other things Willis is talking about can also be fixed. Because you cannot in a house, and I'll give you a practical example, Trevor. In our house or any other family setup, if you are doing your business, people are going to work, children are going to school, everything is running in the house. But there's a difficulty between the mother of the house or the father of the house or the politics of the house, let me say, even older children. Everything else stops to matter. If uncles, cousins, or even pastors come to visit, they will want to fix this other problem first.
Okay.
So it is not idle talk when we say, let us fix the administration. Even county governments, you've seen Orengo and his deputy, things just come to a halt. Okay. So let's fix this problem, and every other thing can move properly.
Okay. Joe, should the deputy president be impeached?
Trevor, my answer is a big no. For many reasons, including some of the reasons that Willis has given. That most of the things that people that support impeachment are saying are things that happened a long time ago. I mean, the things that the deputy president is accused of saying, like the shares thing, is something like Willis said that happened early last year, and nobody had a problem with that. Two, Trevor, you know, politically, this will be a very ill-advised move. And I think I would want to take this opportunity to ask His Excellency the President to use all his influence to stop any plans to impeach the Deputy President. Because, Trevor, Willis has given a legal perspective of the whole thing, and Senator Mugatana, my colleague, has also given some legal side of it, but allow me to give the political side of it. No, Trevor, I come from Muranga, in this part of the mountain that is now, that everybody is talking about now. And the feeling on the ground is that impeaching the deputy president is actually divorcing, is actually signing divorce papers against the people of Mount Kenya. And so for that reason, I think I would want to, once again, to ask His Excellency the President to stop any plan about this, to even stop this talk. Because if it happens, I'm told it is going to be filed this afternoon in the National Assembly.
It's happening this afternoon?
This afternoon. I have not verified the facts regarding the same. But if it happens, then what the people in the mountain take it for, or to be, is that the president has decided to divorce himself from the whole mountain. And this is because, you know, the mountain voted overwhelmingly for the president because we believed in the president. And the mountain would not want to do that. Because I would say here, the president is still loved in the mountain. And I think there are people who are misleading him. And the reasons given for this, again, Trevor, are flimsy. If you listen to my colleague, Senator Mugatana here, talking about the censure motion, And I was listening because the greatest question about that motion is the timing. Why now? And I watched Senator Mungatana on a different TV station last evening, and he was saying that he was in South Africa, and that is why when he came back, he filed the motion because he thought it was the right time to do it. But then Senator Mungatana has not been away for the last 1 month. Maybe he was away in South Africa for 1 week. Why now? When the impeachment proceedings are supposed to, the impeachment motion is supposed to be tabled this afternoon. And because I read mischief in Senator Mungatana's censure motion, because it is like preparing the ground for what is going to happen in the National Assembly. Yeah. Because when you discuss the conduct of the Deputy President, and I've listened to the many things that Senator Mungatana has said, then you are tactfully, trying to influence the thinking of the members of the National Assembly as they discuss this motion, if at all it will be tabled. And so I don't think that it is just a coincidence that Senator Mungatana's notice of motion of censure is coming when there are plans to file
actual impeachment.
When Senator Mungatana says that the Deputy President talks only about one area, surely I think a better thing would have been for him to say that sometimes the Deputy President talks about the mountain. But when you say that he only talks about the mountain and nothing else, we have seen him do many things. We have seen him, for example, hold a very successful meeting about tea in Kericho, and I attended that meeting. Kericho is not in Mount Kenya, and we were discussing tea, Kenyan tea, wherever it grows. He has had a meeting in Meru to discuss about coffee. There we had even members of parliament from Western, the coffee growing areas. There are many things that yesterday he was opening the ASK show in Nairobi. So when somebody mentions something to do with an area where he comes from, you cannot say that he only talks about the area they hail from. Look at this argument about passing greetings from the mountain in somewhere in Nyanza. Trevor, if you meet in the morning, I ask you, Trevor, umeamkaji, how is your family? I can ask you about, how you left your family, because that is where you spent your night. How did you wake up? How are the people who are around you? So when the Deputy President says, I bring you greetings from Mlima, maybe he meant I woke up there. And the people there told me, those that I talked to, told me to come and pass their greetings to you. It doesn't mean that diminishes his stature as a statesman. Everybody spends a night somewhere. Everybody comes from somewhere. Yeah. There is no harm in giving, in passing greetings from home, if that is where you came from this morning. Okay. So I think some of these things are actually, for lack of a better word, petty. And I think there is no good reason why they should happen, because politically it will have some ramifications that should be avoided. Okay. Because these two communities, Trevor, if you were to narrow it down to the community in Rift Valley, the community in Mount Kenya, without mentioning, these are communities that have had differences in the past, and they were so, intermingled, especially in the Rift Valley. Yeah. And this is a relationship we were able to mend when His Excellency the President Ruto, came into union with His Excellency the former President Uhuru Kenyatta. Why do we want to go back where we were in 2007, while we have these two communities living very well? Okay. In any case, if there are any differences between the President and the Deputy President, I believe there are reconcilable differences. Okay. Even in a family, and I'm happy Senator Mungatana has given the whatever of a family. If a husband and a wife have a disagreement, I do not think that divorce should be the first thing that you think about. Okay. These are things that can be discussed, at least for the sake of the children And for the public, I mean, it
can be sorted internally.
It can be sorted. It should be avoided at all costs.
I have to take a quick break. Mgatana, I know you have a right of response. I'll give you a chance to respond and also hear from Willis here. We're still talking about this when we come back from the break. And let's also get your view at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. Is it necessary to impeach the deputy president? This is a conversation we're having now, but we'll also talk about other issues on the front page of the dailies. All right? See you in just a bit.